Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Coffee and Contemplation brought to you by Spotlight Recovery. It is March 26th. I'm your host, Lucas. We've got a reflection today on doing your part. So it's got a funny little acronym in here. Gonna pop it up. So let's get into it. March 26th, doing my part. The surest way to become tense, awkward, and confused is to develop a mind that tries too hard, one that thinks too much. Benjamin Hoff, The Tao of Pooh. The universe will help us, but we need to do our part as well. Here's an acronym, my part, to help you remember what it means to do that. M is for manifest, Y your, P power, accept, A accept, R relax, and T trust. So manifest your power, accept, relax, trust for my part. Too often we tell ourselves the only way to get from point A to point B or Z is to tense up, obsess a little or a lot, and live in fear and anxiety until what we want takes place. This isn't the path to success. It's the path to fear and anxiety. Accept, relax, breathe, let go. Trust yourself, God, and the universe to manifest the best possible destiny when the time is right for you. God, help me make the journey from fear and control to letting go and stepping into my true power. This inspiration is from More Language of Letting Go, 366 New Daily Meditations. So that's by Melanie Beattie. This is, I think this is a great reflection. I really do. I think the acronym's a little funny, but I mean, acronyms a bunch of the times are like, they're challenging to do. There's a lot of good points and words in it. But just the quote and the main points, I think, like they just resonate to me. They so much. Like this opening quote, just the way that it starts. The surest way to become tense, awkward, and confused is to develop a mind that tries too hard, one that thinks too much. Yeah, that is very much speaking my language right there. That is something that I absolutely either fall victim to or choose to do. Kind of depends on where my mindset is that day. But yeah, that's something I definitely relate to and struggle with a lot. And it connects with then the third and fourth points below the acronym here. And I think that it's just so well written. Too often we tell ourselves the only way to get from point A to B or Z is to tense up, obsess a little or a lot, and live in fear and anxiety until what we want takes place. And I love that she covers that too. This isn't the path to success. It's the path to fear and anxiety. It's such a direct line there, and she just lays it out so well. I think it's such a good point. It's so true. And that's like, these are all things that I do a lot. These are still some of my biggest challenges that I want and need to work on with my headspace. It just, if you've watched these videos before, you've heard me talk about just those challenges, around control. Like we've established March is the control issues month for whatever reason. It seems to be the topics that keep coming up that I keep finding in these books. But so just me, that self-centered fear, that addict brain, I'm always still trying to reach out for control in some way, have things go my way, the way I want, when and how I want them. And so then that will be oh, come on. Why am I losing words here? The go-to reactive behavior or thought processes is obsessing a lot. I definitely can be a little neurotic and obsess over things, live in fear and anxiety until they take place, or act out of fear and anxiety as a response. And so then it becomes this like vicious, like self-fulfilling cycle and prophecy where I will experience fear and anxiety because things aren't gonna go. I'm worried things won't go the way that I want. So then I jump into this reactive behavior to then not only try to make things be the way that I want, but then also to then cope with this fear and anxiety that I have now chosen to feel and establish. So then they just start going like this. And because of my brain and like my disease, they move so fast, I will just pop into that so quickly. And then like all of a sudden look at like this mess on my hands and then just be like, what? Whoa, like how did I even get here? Like when did this even happen? Like that's something that's happened for me time and time again. It's very common. It's something I still and just will always need to kind of constantly work at, is slowing that down. And so then that's where I think this this acronym comes in, and these points in it, and then the last two summarizing pieces in the reflection. Manifesting my power instead of like this reactive fear and behavior, like true power, and then accept, relax, trust, so then where the things of the concepts of the higher power come in, on a support system, on trusting the process, on doing the next right thing, on living in the moment for the day and slowing down. All of these things can then come into place. And I'm actually really getting some good reminders of how I need to apply this today, specifically just having this conversation with you. So this is really good for me too right now. But yeah, these are things that I just need to remember and always work at and keep applying. And I think an important point here with this too, like if you relate to this, if you're anything like me, it's important to not beat ourselves up over this as well. If you're an addict, very high chance you have experienced trauma, and or if you're a traumatized person, this fear and anxiety response, this overstimulated reactive actionary behavior, seeking some of these senses of control, I mean, these are all really typical trauma responses, and they're not only coping mechanisms, it's beyond that, they're safety mechanisms. So they're things that we do and have had to do to literally keep ourselves safe. For some of us, including like myself until recovery, and then even times through then, it's been my whole life. So it makes sense that is a very hardwired neural pathway that is still a go-to response, because I've been doing that. Like I'm 35 and I'm 12 years in recovery. So 35 versus 12, I have almost 3 times the experience of, maybe that math doesn't work. It's too early for math. Potentially 3 times that experience of going this route, as opposed to then just 12 out of these 35 wanting to recreate this new route instead of trust, acceptance, patience, faith, all of these things. So you can't beat yourself up for having this response and be like, oh my God, why did I do that again? I can't believe I did this again. Like, it makes total sense why you did that again. To the point where you shouldn't be surprised that you did that again. That's just the oldest hardwired safety mechanism. And your brain needs those things because the reptilian brain in us wants to live, right? It wants to survive. And it knows that one works. So just automatically hit the button, right? So that makes total sense. So just, now we're incorporating, like, this is like a mindfulness piece and technique with this. Being mindful and understanding this truth, and then knowing now that unless you are in emergency and safety is a direct, legitimate, immediate thing today, you now are presented with a choice. And you now are able to choose and decide, do I want to go through that old route? Do I want to try something different? Do I want to try something different and I don't know how? Then you call somebody, right? Things like that. So anyway, these are, I think they're just really good standout points that I just wanted to mention and cover, and why I chose this reflection. I think it's a really good one, and it's got some really good points, and it's a great perspective that can just be really helpful in your recovery. Not only with learning how to choose and better develop the choices we make on how we feel and how we behave, but also then by doing that and making these better choices for ourselves is what brings us more peace. It gives us a more peace of mind, a more peaceful existence. Serenity is a big word that gets thrown around a lot in recovery. So just having those feelings and experiences, which is a really big motivator for a lot of us in recovery. I know it sure is for me. So anyway, there you go. There's today's reflection. Please, in the comments, let us know what stood out for you. Share, well, how do you do your part? What are things that you do to help you find more of that peace, make those better choices in behavior and emotions, things like that? I'd love to hear them. The input's always great, and it can always help somebody, and that's the whole point. And furthermore, if you're hearing all of this and saying, okay, Lucas, I kind of get what you're talking about, but this isn't quite clicking for me, or you're speaking a totally foreign language and I really wish I knew what you were talking about, I really want this in my life, then reach out to me. My contact info is in the description. I do recovery coaching. I'd love to chat with you and see if there's a way that I can help you just move through this in your recovery and build that life that you want. Okay? Also in that description, we've got some free resources for you too on the YouTube channel, other recovery coaching videos, a podcast, blog, everything's there. I'll connect it on our website. So check all those out. And then if you want to support us, you're liking the content and the concept of the channel, then do the YouTube things. Please like, share, subscribe. It really does help. And if you want to take it a step further, you can donate, become a member to the channel, get yourself some branded merch. We got a bunch of great clothes down in there, and that store is going to keep expanding and just have other like recovery clothing as well. So check it all out. Okay. Thank you for joining us today. Wishing you another blessed 24 in recovery. Do your part and get out there and make some good choices today, and we'll see you tomorrow.